comrades, colleague officers. First of all, I am very grateful. I am profoundly very grateful to all of you for organizing this pleasant get-together. And it is because of our Chief Secretary and our Honorable Chief Minister who desired that I be given a fair adieu. So we are having this get-together now. For your information, I have had 13,625 days. It is 37 years, 2 months, 27 days of selfless public services with unblemished track record and spotless career. And that is why I am indeed very delighted and I am rejoicing this day. The time when I entered into service, I was yet to be 23 years. That time I was 22 years, 6 months, 27 days when I joined as the youngest ever officer of the batch in 1985. Now, I have no remorse whatsoever. Joining into service and retiring from service are both inseparably twin. Once we join into service, a time comes when we gracefully retire. And I consider this as second innings of the life. And I represent as the last residue and the last remnant of the Union Territories government's recruited officer. In those days, Arunachal was not that as of today. Those days, we were posted in snow-capped remote areas in the frontier administration. Those days, candle and hurricane lantern were a luxury because the kerosene was not readily available. In spite of the fact that the NEFA administration, UT administration expedited providing of rations by air sorting, and that was not too regular too. Airdropping on CPOs was our primary responsibility, and to ensure that it is properly distributed, it is properly accounted, that was one of the most primary responsibility of administrative officers of those days. Certainly, we were the pioneers and harbingers of consolidating the frontier administration in bringing development of roads, bridges, suspension bridges, and we were certainly the catalyst of modern administration penetrating in remote areas and pockets. I am happy, indeed very happy. During my time, I had no professional rivalries with my comrades. Not even a single instance of professional rivalry. We had good together like a camaraderie, smooth camaraderie amongst us. We had been always a cohesive team, even while enjoying all the powers like police powers, judicial powers, and the coordinating powers of the wings of the administration. We were the fulcrum by which the administrative machinery used to operate and then revolve around. And those days, certainly happiness index was high. Even service morale was very good. Service morale was very good because that time our pioneers who were as a DC or the political officer, they used to mentor us, motivate us well. They made certain enabling circumstances within which we had to administer. And it was really very good time. You know, what Charles Dickens had said in Two Cities, It was the best of times, it was the best of worst of the time. So both things, both adversity and the best of time existed side by side. And there is nothing to be remorseful about it. To do this satisfaction of job, my dear wife was the great enabler. I salute her because she was with me wherever I was posted, whether it was in Colorian or in Anini or in Hylian or in Nacho. I had to hold the charges of additional charge of Nacho also, limiting taxing. Still today it is very remote area. My wife was the great enabler. She was with me all through, and I did not have any complacency in the administration. A time was there when we mentored and motivated up our juniors and our upcoming junior officers. And I had a very good relation. Still today they uphold and respect me a lot because just attending there one of the small welfare issue was enough to boost their morale. And I wish my officer friends should also always motivate and mentor up the junior officer to become inspired. We have to set some kind of example. Example is always better than precepts. That is my simple belief. I had the privilege of being the member secretary of high-level committee on the APCS officers' genuine grievances, which was placed before the government, and government accordingly desired that these matters need be addressed too. So we prepared 110 pages of report and recommendations during 2013 November. And on the basis of that recommendation today, many of the APCS officers are now occupying the post of additional secretary. We were not fortunate to be the additional secretary even while we were not inducted into IAS. So we have contributed collectively to address the genuine grievances of our APCS officers. And I am conscious, sir, I am fully conscious that I was very upright. I had to exhibit some kind of fearlessness because those days there was no strong police machinery in those days in remote areas. If you psychologically exhibit fearlessness, ferociousness, that itself is sufficient to control the law and order situation. And that I have inherited those legacies into my day-to-day life, even during this retirement time. I am also conscious that I used to uphold the rule of law. I used to read about the essence of administrative law, wherein limitations of the discretion of our political executives, the bureaucrats, technocrats, are well defined there. And it is an established fact that there is discretion, no doubt, but there is certainly not unfettered discretion anywhere. We are bureaucrats. Our duty, our constitutional duty and obligation is to aid and advise our political executive to see that rule of law is upheld. They are well mentored, they are well advised, and to do that, Every sensible bureaucrat ought to be well read. You have to read. You cannot be a mute spectator to the ongoing onslaught, possible onslaught of misuse and abuse of power. We have to advise the Council of Ministers or political executive. We cannot blame them, but we cannot remain complacent and complicit with them. We are to educate them, we have to guide them so that any decision taken is well-informed decision, conscious decision that upholds the rule of law. And for that, I do not have any regret whatsoever. And I have no future forebodings either. My simple belief is that if someone doesn't have the capacity or capable of solving any problem, he should not create a problem either. Problem has to be solved instantly. I am extremely grateful, sir, for organizing this pleasant get together. I am delighted. I'll be carrying back all your goodwill, compassion, empathy, support for my future well-being while I make homeward journey to my pristine, tranquil environment of our humble home, which I consider as beautiful. Apna ghar hai, swarg se sundar. So I carry all your good wishes and you are bidding me well. Thank you so much. I wish God will abundantly bless our Chief Secretary and the team members, my juniors, my upcoming the younger officers for your happiness, your success. That's all. And He will equally bless me with good health and overall well-being of my family. Thank you so much.